you want to be on the Mars mission, do you have a better bet working for NASA or working for freaking Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos?
Yeah.
You know? What's your thoughts, Kalyn?
So, how do you feel about the movie Apollo 13 then?
Yeah.
Would you put it in your top 10 or in your top 5?
Hey, podcast fans, it's Robert from the Robert and Kalyn Get Rich podcast. Welcome to episode 41. This week, we did something a little different. We had an interview guest. It was Joaquin Khodaverdy. He's my daughter's boyfriend who I only just met less than 24 hours before. He's visiting the Cleveland area to see colleges, and who better to spend Valentine's Day with than your girlfriend's dad without your girlfriend present. So it was a little fun. It was a little weird, but I hope you enjoy it. Won't you please like and subscribe and send this to all your friends. And here we go. Our interview of Joaquin Khodaverdy. Talk soon. I'm wearing my Exeter stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not showing up, but anyway.
Yeah.
Gotta
see
bust
it.
out the old Exeter sweatshirt once in a while. So
Sure.
Good.
So this is actually really embarrassing. I may have heard your last name, but I don't know it. What's your last name, Joaquin?
Khodaverdy.
Khodaverdy. Okay.
I got a very tough name combo. Not many people can pronounce either first try. But
I learned the story today that it was shortened from Khodavarian, right?
Yeah.
So all right. So Khodaverdy is pretty easy.
Ah.
A little better.
A little better to remember.
Yeah.
And Joaquin Khodaverdy wants to start off on the right foot with you, Kalyn. So he has something to show you here.
That's nice.
I'm unaware of what this means exactly, but I've been told it was a good start. So
Well,
I'm glad.
as you can see from our decor, that like basically, we just surround ourselves with various crap.
Yeah.
It just sort of creeps up.
Yeah, the rubber chickens, I think, is like the funniest thing in the world. So I actually brought one up. You can find it in Kiara's closet, and you should take it to her. Actually, I would super funny. Yeah, I brought one up.
Your aunt sent this chick.
Yeah, well, I brought it up. It was super funny because I was just doing a carry-on bag. I didn't check a bag, and so like this rubber chicken's like in my carry-on. Like as I'm walking past like first class, it's like everybody's looking at me weird. And I was like, "What? You guys don't travel with rubber chickens in your bag?" I mean, I like that we're doing this special like Valentine's Day edition. Can't be with your Valentine. The second best thing is to be with your Valentine's father, and
whom you've never met until this very day.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I know. We were talking about this
here.
when we recorded earlier, Joaquin. We're just both like, I cannot imagine going and spending a weekend with my high school girlfriend's parents.
Right. Yeah.
Especially having never met them.
Right.
And,
without the significant other there, I can't imagine spending certainly at your age, spending more than, I don't know, 10 minutes with my significant other's parents.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always open to new experiences. I figured I'd leave a good impression. I hope I've been leaving a good impression.
Yeah.
I do my best. I try to be funny.
Yes.
I guess this is a good way to prove my mettle.
Yeah.
Well, Joaquin picked the background color of the lighting, and he picked red for Valentine's red.
A little bit of
very
red for Valentine's
nice.
Day, I figure.
And I see you picked red for Valentine's. And Andrea did her first manicure on a human today, and of course that nail polish was red. It was not Joaquin, although we should have made him do it.
I have gotten my nails done before.
Get
Nail
outta
club.
here.
Yeah.
Nail club. I have some pictures.
Well, he is from LA, so
Yeah.
we don't do those things in Cleveland.
Yeah, that and an older sister who wished I was a girl for a good portion of my life. It was makeup, it was putting my hair up, it was that kind of stuff. So I'm used to it.
Well, you've got plenty to work with hair wise. I mean, it looks
I used to have hair down to my shoulders, a little past my shoulders in middle school. And I mean, girls would love it. And not to say I was a ladies' man or anything, but
it's okay if you're a ladies' man in junior high.
Yeah.
Starting this nail salon up, we've run into a number of men that get manicures, and I don't think I quite get it.
Yeah.
What men?
I think it's just to keep things neat and tidy. Most of the time I've heard that they don't necessarily get nail color, just like get the cuticles trimmed and all that stuff.
No, I remember being at a meal with a guy, and I look over, and I'm like, this guy's had a manicure. Like, oh, weird.
Got a eye for it now.
What's going on? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Adam goes occasionally, but you know he's gay, and
Right, that's the key difference. The guys I'm referring to are married, and not that they'd be the first gay guys to get married to women. But,
I've gone with one like straight guy to get pedicures, which I do get that on for everybody. Considering how rough my feet get, it's nice to have somebody else use the power tools on them and get them nice.
Do the dirty work, is that?
Yeah. See how much weight I can lose from them, like digging stuff out from under my nails and like shaving calluses off my feet. Yeah.
Oof.
My feet are nice. There.
Do you wonder why Kalyn is single? Is just starting to provide any insight?
That's just
and
one
unemployed.
thing. Yeah.
Hey, to each their own. To each their own. You know, everyone's got their thing. Everyone's got their thing.
Yeah.
So Joaquin spent the day at Case Western Reserve University here, about 6-minute drive from the house. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
It's good. I like it. I really do like their education. It seems like very like open. You can kind of do whatever you want there. I would probably do a double major in mechanical and aerospace engineering. That's sort of what I want to do in the future. But I mean, everything they have seems awesome. Their makerspace is like 7 stories tall. It's absolutely phenomenal. They have a lot of different options, and all the students seemed like they were excited to be there.
You probably don't know a darn thing about Case Western, do you, Kalyn? Except for it's like down the hill.
One of my classmates in grad school had gone there, but that's all I know. Yeah,
I think it's
that's it.
Would you put it as like Rice University in Houston? That's the one she lives near. I would think they're roughly equivalent. I mean, Rice might be a little more prestigious. It might be a little more engineering slanted, but.
Yeah, I was debating between visiting Case Western or Rice University. Actually, it was either today or I would have visited Rice.
Well, you can come stay with me and visit Rice.
I was gonna say you could stay with mom and dad. Like it could be even weirder than staying with his girlfriend's parents.
Grandparents.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The expression on your face says it all.
I mean, she's
if Grandpa
mostly
got
deaf
his hooks
at
in
this
you.
point, so- yeah. Right. God, I can only imagine. Yeah.
And finds out you want to go to Rice. So anyway.
Yeah. So why mechanical and aerospace? What are you wanting to do?
He wants to work for SpaceX. Duh.
That's what I was thinking. I was wondering if it was SpaceX.
SpaceX, not so much.
Blue Origin.
Are you wanting to work for
Starlink.
Boeing?
Boeing, please. I'm telling you, you don't want to work for Boeing, man.
Yeah, I don't think it. I'd be scared to work for Boeing, honestly.
Yeah, well, that's all the aerospace we know. So
yeah, Boeing. I might work there, but I'm afraid they'd kill me if I said something wrong on the news or something. I don't even know. Back when they had that whole whistleblower situation.
Oh, right.
Like 3 of them died of mysterious circumstances.
No, I didn't hear about this.
Remember when a plane, the door came off of a plane?
Yeah.
It was sometime around that a Boeing whistleblower died of mysterious maybe not mysterious, but of some sort of illness is what they said. And then 2 more died shortly after that.
Right.
So.
I remember this what you're talking. I don't remember the details around it either, but I do remember that it was like, just all these these guys just happened to die. It just seemed like there was definitely some conspiracy.
So my first job out of school was I worked at 3M, and the CEO at 3M was Jim McNerney. Jim McNerney went on to become the CEO of Boeing, and he's the guy. All those planes were developed under Jim McNerney. I will say this. No one I knew died under mysterious circumstances at 3M. But I'm not sure how much whistleblowing there was to make about, Scotch tape and,
right.
duct tape, packaging tape, Post-it notes. Mailers. They got those mailers, Scotch mailers. But hey, listen, you dodged a bullet, Joaquin. Listen, we asked you a question. What are you going to do with this aerospace and mechanical engineering?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess long-term, work for NASA, get to Mars. That's sort of the end goal. I had an engineering teacher at my old school who actually worked for JPL, and he worked on some Mars rover mission. I think he worked on, Oh, the first one. I forget. It might have been Curiosity.
Oh, yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah,
I was trying to
of
remember
course.
it.
Yeah. But it's all right.
You could have literally said any word there, and I would have been like, "Oh, that one."
Yeah. He worked on. Don't you remember Mission Falcon 7?
Yeah.
Kalen? I mean,
Don't you remember
right.
super awesome Mars Rover 1 mega mission? That's
what Elon Musk would have called it. All right, here's the debate is like, if you want to be on the Mars mission, do you have a better bet working for NASA or working for freaking Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos?
Yeah.
You know? What's your thoughts, Kalyn?
What's Jeff Bezos doing with the
Blue Origin? Now they just laid off 10% of their staff like today, so that's probably not it. But only engineers.
Good to know.
Well, I mean,
not the marketing department or whatever the hell, or finance or whatever.
Well, how much funding do you think is going to get cut to NASA with like Elon Musk and Trump's
given that
ear
Elon
right
Musk
now,
is the one.
Given that it's in direct competition. Actually, I never thought about that. Yeah.
Right.
That NASA's probably his biggest competition in getting to Mars.
And probably also his biggest funding source, at
that
SpaceX.
too.
So
Yeah, good question.
Good questions.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what NASA's doing right now. Like, I haven't heard about NASA doing anything. But I'm sure they're doing. Nobody knows. Figuring out all kinds of shit. Yeah.
The only thing to do is they'll send some pretty pictures every now and again, and that keeps the public interested, and that keeps the money coming in.
Well, once every couple of years, there's like a thing on the news where we landed a fucking spaceship on a fucking comet, and then there's a bunch of like nerd scientists like going bananas, like cheering up and down because they can't believe how amazing it is we landed a spaceship on a comet. And I'm like, all right, you do you, NASA, whatever.
2 weeks later, no one cares.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm one of the people who cheers when the actuators work on the Mars probe, or when the knife dragging component works when you're landing on the comets of unknown density. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
In the news. It's so hard to find.
Yeah, you'll fit right in. I get the sense of that. Meanwhile, we're laying off the people that give money to starving children in Africa. Like those people, you're out of work. But the guys like freaking like landing on the smushy surfaces on Mars, you go nuts. Hey. Well, listen, we gave Joaquin a tour of the city. I didn't realize this NASA interest, or we for sure would have stopped by the Glenn NASA Research Center, which is where, like, you're talking about Mars rover, or like a lot of this work happens here. I think it's the biggest NASA center outside of Houston.
Oh.
I mean, we know like 5 people that work at NASA. So
wow,
because of this Glenn Research Center.
Yeah, it's so close.
And then you ask them what they're doing, and they're like,
stuff you don't understand. Anyways, don't like.
We take particles and we engine, wind tunnel,
ion thruster, solar flare, satellites. Just a couple buzzwords.
I think it involves a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of filing stuff, and anyway.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about the movie Apollo 13 then?
Yeah.
Would you put it in your top 10 or in your top 5?
Those are the only 2 options. It's been a while, but I think I would say top 10. I honestly don't remember a lot from that movie. But
you're still I'm pretty sure it's one of the top 10 things.
Yeah, pretty sure it's somewhere
I don't really
up there.
Has Kiara seen it? I feel like that's one on my list of top movies that Kiara never saw. Meanwhile, she's been making Joaquin watch all. What was the movie we talked about?
It was Ford vs. Ferrari.
That was
the one I watched.
You're gonna watch this movie with me. Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah, 3-hour movie. Did not know it was a 3-hour movie. First time watching it, and we had to take a break. I paused it at some point because I was like, I'm getting a little tired. Hour and a half through, we were basically straight at the midpoint. I was like, oh my god, this is a lot more than I was ready for.
See, that's funny because I feel like that's like the shortest 3-hour movie there ever was.
It was wonderful. Yeah. I loved it.
So you don't remember this, Kalyn, I would think, but when Ariel was born, you and I stayed at our grandparents' house. And the movie they had us watch was Lawrence of Arabia, which is so long, it has an intermission in the middle. And so literally we're watching HBO, and they put a 15-minute intermission in the middle on the freaking TV. This is the era before you could pause shows and whatever. But,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Kalyn could probably, on a bet, name within 50 years when Lawrence of Arabia like was supposed to
when
take place.
When it's supposed to take place in history?
Yeah,
or when
exactly.
it was filmed? Oh,
When was
yeah.
the real Lawrence of Arabia? Like, when was that guy? Tell me.
Like,
what
was
two
that
digits does it start with?
BC or AD?
All right, it's AD, so now you're within 2,000 years.
All right. Let's see. I'll go with 1250. I don't know. That's based on nothing. Just to.
No.
I mean,
It's clearly based on nothing because
yeah. I mean.
No, T.E. Lawrence was a British Army officer, archaeologist, and diplomat and writer known
Okay, so
for...
Britain was like around.
Yes. The cat was born in 1888 and he died in 1935. So, yes, he was a World War I era guy who went and helped build railroads in
Arabia, I didn't know anything
so.
about the story either, so it's just like, dudes in like the desert. That's like what I have to go off of. Like,
You're thinking sultans and like freaking, barbarians at the gate in Bucharest or whatever. So anyway, I have an important news item. Since we're talking about British guys, like this is a Welsh guy. You are gonna love this, Kalyn. I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast, but you're going to recognize this as soon as you see this headline. In years-long search for lost Bitcoin, a final proposal, let me buy the landfill.
Yeah, so they've been listening to our podcast.
Yeah, so this guy, he's in Wales, okay? And he loses the hard drive that contains his password, his key to his Bitcoin account, which at the time, it was worth like 12 cents, right? So no big deal that he threw it away.
Back when people were buying pizzas with Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And now it's worth $800 million.
Oh, God.
And Kalyn and I were like, $800 million, you could get investors to come in. You could build a freaking like sorting facility.
Yeah.
He has sued the city that owns the landfill. Right? He's worked his way through the courts. He went to the equivalent of the Supreme Court of the UK, and they basically said, no, you're not allowed to access this landfill. And now they're going to close it. The landfill's full now. It's done. And so now they're going to close the landfill. And he's like, well, I'll just buy the damn landfill. And he's going to set up this process where he like scoops out truckloads of trash at a time, puts them through a sorter. Because... if it's worth $800 million,
then once you find it, you can pay it back. You can go into as much debt as you need to, as long as it's less than $800.
Yeah.
So he, in an earlier iteration, he like literally went to the town council and he was like, "I will split with you the value of this if you will give me access to this dump, and I can like work on this and sort through it. I will split the money with you." And this town council said no.
Wow.
Like what?
Yeah, but I think that they might be worried he's going to sue the town, the city, whatever, sue them. I don't know.
Something stupid.
Yeah.
Some stupid
I don't
accident.
know.
Some stupid
Something that doesn't make sense to us because we're not a bunch of fascists like they are in the UK.
Like they are in Wales. Those Welsh motherfuckers, I'm telling you. Like, how many times have you been like, well, I would do it, but this Welsh son of a bitch, he won't let me. They're just stupid. Okay, so what's their liability? I mean, what's somebody going to sue them for? All right, you go hunt in this landfill, you get whatever, ovarian cancer, right? Mm-hmm. You sue the city. What's their liability? $10 million, maybe. So $10 million of downside, $400 million of upside. Like, I mean, how?
Yeah. Right. No, I
know your average city in Wales is just like
doing this. I would have gotten a job at the dump at this point and started just on my own.
Something clandestine.
Like I would just gotten access to the dump and I would just start.
I'm sure
working,
they're not guarding the dump. I feel like that would just be
go in at night and
dump heist.
Yeah. Did the article say like how long it was between like him losing it? It could be like under so many layers of things that like it could be completely broken, inaccessible, whatever.
Oh, I think it said 12. I think it said 12 years. Let me see if I can find this thing.
Like,
for 12 years.
I mean, I like even if it's on a hard drive,
Yeah.
I don't know if like that realistically 12 years of garbage on, I don't know how it's stacked exactly, but
Yeah, no, I think they go.
It could definitely not work. Like,
Yeah.
No, the guy's like hired. No, but the guy's like hired former managers of this dump, who could like tell him, all right, well. Back in
here's where it
we
could
filled in
be.
2013 and then 2014
Right.
and then 2015. To give you a sense.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
you gotta find the hard drive. Meanwhile,
Right.
it's been in the
But, like-
elements for 12
yeah,
years.
like had orange juice, whatever.
yeah,
people's
orange
food
juice.
seeping
Let's
on it.
hope it's just orange
that's
juice.
it. That's the only thing that goes into dumps is the orange juice. Orange juice and
hard drives
computers.
and orange juice. All you gotta do is sort through.
Yeah.
You pick up a piece of thing and you're like, is this a hard drive or is this orange juice? And,
But no, I
orange
mean,
juice.
like all that stuff getting into the computer itself, like it could make
Yeah.
it so corrupted that you wouldn't be able to get at that data. So,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
that
let's
risk.
think about it. It's probably really stupid. It's probably not
probably
gonna.
is.
It's probably.
Yeah. If it was 1 year ago, I'd be like, yeah.
But the
if it was
number
1
is
year
so,
ago, I'd say-
guys, no, you don't get it. The number is so big,
Yeah.
like you have to
$800
try.
million.
You have
Like-
to try.
Like the likelihood of it, you get taking on enormous debt though, and not coming out with anything is a lot higher than zero.
This is
Yeah.
why you got investors, though. Like you go to Elon Musk, right? And you're like, listen, man, you give me $10 million to finance this thing. There's a 90% chance it goes to zero, a 10% chance it goes to 400 million, and your $10 million turns into 100, whatever, however the math works out. But you find a consortium of people who can absorb the risk. I mean,
Rich people like to gamble, right? That's
Well,
the thing
it's
they
not
do.
Well,
it's the same. It's venture capital.
Right.
Venture capital is all about like, all right, we're going to invest in 10 companies. 9 are going to go out of business. 1 is going to become Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. That's how these venture capital cats make all their money. And so this is the same thing. It's the same
And
as the
there is a
guys
lot-
financing the search for the Titanic or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
The
which I think is
submer-
also
the
stupid.
submersible.
Well, no, not
Or-
those guys.
I was gonna say, that definitely wasn't a good investment.
No.
Yeah.
Know that much.
No, don't
Yeah.
put any money into the submersibles. I had some updates from last week, Kalyn. I did some research on Braxton Bragg and Ronald Bragg.
Yeah.
All right, so Joaquin, you'll probably appreciate this as a member of the younger generation. So we used to have these army bases around the United States, and we named them after who else? Confederate generals, right? So there was 11 or 12 bases named after Confederate generals.
Yeah.
In the Obama administration, we renamed them all. One of them was named after Braxton Bragg, this Confederate general. They renamed it to Fort Liberty. And so in the Trump administration, they came back and they said, all right, well, we're going to rename it back to Fort Bragg. But they did a little sleight of hand. Instead of naming it after Braxton Bragg, this terrible Confederate general, they named it after Ronald Bragg, who is just any old soldier, but he fought in World War II, earning a Silver Cross. So he's like a pretty good soldier, but there was roughly 40 or 50 million other people they could have picked from to name them after his face. So I learned 2 things. So first of all, why did they name it? Now, Braxton Bragg had a reputation of being the worst general in the Confederacy. He lost every battle he fought in. Okay. Horrendous loss of life.
Ooh.
He was known as a terrible human being who treated his people terribly. So why not
So naturally, we named a fort after him, of course.
Yeah, and Fort Bragg is like not a nothing fort. This is like maybe
One of the good ones.
Yeah, it's like maybe the largest fort in the United States.
Oh.
And so it's named after this
Yeah.
So he wasn't good at this job. He, led to people
Yeah.
dying. He was
Yeah.
apparently a piece of shit. Just
So
everything
why?
terrible about
For
him.
the Confederate Army.
yeah,
right.
above all other things.
Like,
So why do we pick this guy? Why? Okay,
Yeah.
here's the reason why. He was the only general in the Civil War who was from North Carolina, where Fort Bragg is. Formerly
Still.
So they're like, okay.
Had to keep it local.
They're
and
it's
the
more
army.
important to stay at that rank also than to go down a rank and find somebody who did something good, anything good,
Yeah,
people who were actually fighting and dying.
Yeah, people were proud of or whatever.
right. Not somebody who just loses continuously and but yeah.
Well, it turns out the army didn't actually name the bases. Like the local communities would build a base. We're talking about these all came up in World War I. And so the local community would build the camp that later evolved into the base. They got to name it after whoever they wanted. Well, these people from North Carolina were like, well, let's name it after the one general that came out of North Carolina in the Civil War. Turns out it's Braxton Bragg. And we think he was a perfectly good general, and we don't care. Anyway, so then Kalyn and I were hoping, we were praying that Ronald Bragg, the new guy that they named this after, he would be like a racist son of a gun or a just convicted criminal.
Just
something.
Keep it going.
We found his name in the rolls. Oh, there's a Bragg. And no, it turns out he's a nice guy, member of the community. He's died, but his daughter's oh my God, he would be so proud. But I think that the thing that we really undersold last episode, Kalyn, was can you imagine they walk up and they're yeah, we're naming this base after your grandpa, all right, Base Kimmel, because he was in the Navy, just a guy in the Navy,
just a dude who happened to have the same last name.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, what? The largest army base in the United States named after our grandpa for no good reason.
Yeah, that would be it would be crazy. I mean, I guess we have Admiral Kimmel, right? So if it was
but we don't actually. Oh, I'll tell you this story in a second. Yeah, Joaquin. Now we don't actually know that we're related to Admiral Kimmel, but.
Yeah,
Admiral Kimmel is
basically responsible for Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, he got at least he got the blame for he was the admiral in charge of Pearl Harbor when it was bombed by the Japanese. I will say Pearl Harbor is totally worth visiting if you haven't visited it. But it's one of two times that and going to Normandy and the cemetery at Normandy when I was like, Cody, you better not say a fucking word today. I don't want to hear one moment of belly aching today. We are going to see a place where American soldiers died for your freedom. I don't even mean this to come out funny, but I was you were going to get a bloody nose. And thankfully, both times, I think in situations like that, he totally gets it. But anyway. And then after we went to Normandy, we went to this fish and chips shack that's on the beach, right? And we sat there and we made fun of the German tourists that were at the next table. So you gotta let it out. You gotta let your hair down somehow.
Well, right. Yeah. There's a Bert Kreischer bit there. He talks about him and his friends getting baked in Amsterdam, and they were like, "What do you want to do?" And he's like, "I really want to go to the Anne Frank house." So they're super stoned and going through this, and it's very much as sad as it gets. Towards the end, he's like, I don't think I was thinking of Anne Frank when I he really didn't know who Anne Frank was. I don't.
Who was the one talking about the ratings of the Anne Frank? So you go on TripAdvisor and some of the reviews are not that great.
She wasn't even the reason she wasn't even there.
Yeah. Yeah. Jim Gaffigan. He's like, what did you expect? A pinball museum? Or
people are like, ratings for Auschwitz, 2 stars. Kind of sad. Nowhere to sit.
It's very somber ambiance. Didn't really like it that much. What did you expect?
They didn't maintain
not
it that
super
well.
fun. Or Grand Canyon, 3 stars.
Grand Canyon, too much walking. What are you?
Yeah, lots of walking. Exactly.
All right. So one thing we talk about on Robert and Kalyn Get Rich a lot is debt and spending. So, they swore in a new Secretary of Health and Human Services this week, right? I'm sure you followed that, Kalyn. And that is Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah. I knew that he was on the docket for it.
Yeah, who better than a vaccine skeptic? This is all part of
who had a worm in his brain for some time.
You can't hold that against him, but this is all part of the let the raccoons manage the government philosophy, basically.
Yeah.
But what you did not know about Robert F. Kennedy, since this is the world's only comedy personal finance podcast. Well, it turns out RFK Jr. on his security clearance forms put that he has $1.2 million on his credit cards.
Yeah.
All right.
Jesus.
So, and I like the second half of this. How much credit card debt is okay? Now, listen, would you say that $1.2 million is
Definitely
okay?
not. I'm
or-
not a big finance guy. I feel like 1.2 million is probably the point you should
Kind of a
start
lot.
asking questions.
Yeah.
Is this credit card fraud one of the first? Who has my credit card? One of the second.
No, this cat, no, he knows he has $1.2 million. Like, I heard people talking about this debt is at an average interest rate of 20 to 24%
Right.
interest.
Yeah.
All right. Now, just for reference, like our mortgage is at like 5% interest, right? Now, the guy makes like $10 million a year or something off of who the hell knows what, but
Yeah.
cockamamie speeches and whatever, right? But he's just like, I'm gonna sit around and have $1.2 million on a credit card. It's just
Yeah. Maybe he just means it's like that's how much he's, it's not revolving balance. It's like, nah, that's just new balance each month. It's, roughly. Like he pays it off, and that's not really debt.
He's just letting
that's
everyone know.
balance.
I was just trying to imagine what Dave Ramsey would do with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on if he with his $1.2 million.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna.
He'd be like, "Let's go through your other debts. All right, how much is your house worth? What do you owe on it?" Like,
I got $125,000 left on the house, Dave.
Yeah.
And Dave would be like, "Yeah, that truck. You're gonna have to sell that truck."
yeah.
Like, okay, now we're down to 1.194.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my friends back at school, for some reason, loves to watch some of the YouTube clips, like the top 10 like worst Dave Ramsey. Like people got.
No
I don't
kidding.
know why.
Oh, yeah.
I went into his room one day. I was just hanging out, and he was like, "You want to watch Dave Ramsey?" And I was like, "Who's that?" And he's like, "Oh, let me just, he's great." And for just 20 minutes, we watched it, and he was like, "Are you liking this?" And I was like, "This is hilarious." And it's such like. I mean, I guess, money is hard, but I just don't understand, I found it hilarious that he likes this show. I just thought that was the randomest.
Because he's like 18 years old, give or take. Yeah.
He's like 16. He's barely a sophomore, and he's like, I don't know why.
That kid is going places. I'm telling you, you should watch a little Dave Ramsey. I agree with that. But I think what Kalyn was going to say is this stuff is not hard.
Yeah. Money is not hard, actually.
One time I sat Kiara down. We could have this talk too, Joaquin, if you really want it. But like, I was like, listen, here's the bottom line. Spend less than you make. Okay?
Yeah.
If you can't do that, it doesn't matter what I say the rest. Okay?
Yeah.
Spend less. So our rule on this podcast, rule 1 is get a job.
Which neither
That's
of
a
us
good
have.
one.
Which none of us have. But we don't have to because we've gotten to the point we don't have to. But rule number 2 is spend less than you make. Then rule number 3 is do something good with that money, which the good thing is to invest in the stock
Get your money
market.
to make more money.
The good thing is to invest in that one dude in Wales with his Bitcoin wallet in the landfill.
All right, that's it. Yeah. All right, we have work to do here, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, well, Joaquin, what'd you think? Did you have fun today?
Yeah, this was fun. I've never been on a podcast before. This was nice.
Yeah.
This was nice.
We should have Joaquin tell us your favorite company or product so we can put that in the portfolio. Like for the,
Yeah.
the guest
Have you heard
portfolio.
about these portfoliows we have?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Enlighten me.
Oh, like Kiara did a crappy job.
Yeah. Well, Kiara's never watched the podcast either.
Well, somehow she knows something about it. I don't know how this is, but
I've told her
probably
a little
because
bit,
this
I
used to be her crafting room that we're sitting in, right?
She's told me. She's told me that this used to be her craft room.
I know, it's great for... Listen, she told me I could use it, and then she comes home and she's like, no, you can't use that. But, anyway. All right, so Kalyn and I have a portfolio. This is all fake money, right?
Yeah.
But our podcast portfolio is... Do not read into this that we know what the hell we're talking about, please.
Right.
But our portfolio is up 18%.
Ooh.
Hell
Since we
yeah,
started
it is.
in a little less than a year that we've been podcasting.
Oh,
And
nice.
on top of that, another $500 that we've made selling stuff and et cetera. And we're having a good day. Up a third of 1%. Let's see.
Nice.
See any big dollars here? Any big numbers?
We got a minus.
Got a
That's a big one.
Well, yeah, we had,
Stop talking about the minuses.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
Project
focus on the positive. Focus on the positive. Yeah, Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae's our big.
Fannie Mae. Okay, so the thing about
2,000%.
Yeah. $2,000. Yeah, 388%.
Oof.
Yeah, it's been good.
Wow.
It's been good to me personally too, but understand that it's very, very swingy, and that's a big reason that we're up. All right, so then we compare that to how did the S&P 500 do over time.
Oh, so you're gonna take a recommendation from me, something that should be invested in.
Yeah, for sure.
Lord,
we're already short Tesla, so you can't pick that. No, I guess the Friends portfolio could be short Tesla.
Yeah.
All right, so the S&P over the same period is up 8%. So we're beating the S&P by 10%. We're pretty good, crushing it.
That's pretty good.
It is real good.
We're
And then the guest portfolio, is down 2%. So they're getting cream.
I gotta make something good.
Yeah, you got to help the guests
Well,
a lot.
Shoot.
This is a lot better than they had been doing for a while there.
Well, here's how it goes.
It was
Starbucks is
tough times.
Starbucks up 15%, Kroger up 5%, and Pulte Homes down 25%. So anyway,
Pulte Homes, by the way, is Andrea's pick.
Honestly,
Starbucks, actually,
if you just pick something that does 0, you will bring the average up.
The average Boston.
Yeah.
So
Let's see.
Yeah.
I wonder, is Hasbro something you can trade? Because we talked a little bit about this when I got here. This is a card game I love to play. It's called Magic the Gathering. Not to expose myself. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Owned by Wizards of the Coast, owned by Hasbro. I'm pretty sure it's
HAS,
the order it goes in.
Hasbro's HAS. Yeah.
They sure are. Here they are. They had a great day today. Well, let's look at 5 days. Up 3% over the past 5 days. 7% over the past month.
Can we change it out of the candle just to be the line?
You want okay, fine.
Yeah. I don't want the fancy stuff.
People won't respect us if we do that. 1 year, 15% over the past year.
Not terrible.
Not a bad little thing. We've lost our 5 years down 37. They're rebounding though.
They're coming up. Oh yeah.
All time 57,000%.
That's a good investment, right? That means good things.
I would say that was pretty good. It must be longer than this time period because this was at $4.59. Now it's at 60. That's less than 57,000%. All right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Hasbro it is. All right. Hasbro it is has been added to the the Friends portfolio.
And don't let him fool you. Robert played Magic the Gathering also.
Yeah, I tell him there's no chance we don't have some Magic the Gathering cards around here and some
Well,
D&D
we definitely
stuff.
do at Mom and Dad's place, so
They probably have a lost hard drive somewhere in their house with $800 million of Bitcoin on it. So.
Let's freaking hope so.
Some cards are worth a lot depending on condition. Obviously,
800
what
million?
they are. 800. You'd be surprised. You would be surprised. There's a couple. So I mean, it might be worth rooting around if you ever. I'll gladly do it if I'm ever out down in Texas.
The last Da Vinci sold for $400 million, so I don't think there's a Magic the Gathering.
Maybe not that much. Maybe not that much.
Yeah.
But more than cardboard should be worth. I will say that much.
For sure.
Right.
Anyway, cool.
All right, Joaquin, thank you very much.
You're
a friend of the.
Oh
wait, I was gonna make him eat gummy bear. But I totally forgot.
Oh.
All right, put that plate on that.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Got a zero at it.
Oh Lord.
How do you feel about gummy bears? How do you feel about cherry flavored candy?
All right.
Ooh, I do like cherry flavored Jolly Ranchers.
Oh, then you are in luck.
All right, you may look at this and you'll be like, I am not touching
You are
that.
totally in luck. Yeah, no. You're going to be like, man, my lucky day. This thing covered in bite
Yeah,
marks.
this
and
started at 5 pounds and now it's under 2 pounds.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So here it is.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's anywhere safe to bite, honestly. 1 pound, 11 ounces.
Holy.
All right. A, you can back out, but
Yeah.
B, if you can find a spot to bite and you want to take a bite of that.
Yeah, go on, take a chop.
One
It's
bite
worth
as
it.
big as I can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Try to take
yeah.
a few ounces off of that.
Or
God.
any
This
size
edge looks
bite,
safe right
any
here.
size
Yeah.
bite you're willing to take.
Right here. Yeah, he's like,
Like, Yeah.
See if I can.
This guy's
Hey.
a trooper right here. Look
What
at
a
this.
good sport.
Oh,
Yeah.
good-
yeah.
oh my
That's like
goodness.
a Kalyn bite. That's
Yeah,
right.
he
Nice.
did. Yeah,
I
he
like
did.
it. I like it. Yay.
All right, we're gonna weigh it back
Yay.
in here. What do we got? 1 pound,
Half an
11.4 ounces. I don't know what the point was.
Half an ounce, yeah.
We screwed it.
Half an ounce.
Yeah, half
It's
an
all right.
ounce.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's officially a
That's good.
half an ounce.
Yeah.
How we measure things.
It's a good. It's a
good
pretty
though,
good gummy
isn't it?
bear, though.
It
It's
Yeah.
not
tastes
that
good.
bad. It's not that bad.
It tastes
I think
alright.
taking down that whole
Yeah,
thing would
you
be
are-
a terrible task, but
Oh, we
Yeah.
could take that down. If we had to, you and I, if we're like, yeah, we got to eat this thing. We could eat that.
Right.
NASA
Yeah.
depends on it. We've got to eat this thing.
Yeah.
we have to get weight off of the next space shuttle. What are we gonna do?
Exactly.
I'll do it. I'll eat the gummy bear.
Yeah.
Something about Bitcoin.
Yeah. I was just saying. I'll give you these lost bitcoins or whatever.
Yeah, there's a
Mexican, yeah.
Bitcoin buried deep in there,
Yeah.
and it's worth
Right.
$800 million. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on the
All
show,
right.
Joaquin. That was
Yeah.
super fun.
Having
All
me.
right.
Thank you for having
We will have you on again soon from your remote outpost in
Yeah.
New Hampshire or whichever school that you end up in. And thanks for coming
Yeah.
on the Robert and Kalyn Get Rich
Yeah.
podcast.
Looking forward
Yeah.
to getting rich.
See you later. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.